can go through dying, another can go through the altar. And when synergy is achieved, something will change. Did you not read about Jesus? The Bible said in Matthew 17 verse 2, after 8 days, he went to the mountain to pray, and they said suddenly there stood with him Moses and Elias. That is Kratos. When that man comes down, he can take a territory, because it's no longer one man. He's one man, but he's fighting with the strength of many. There are many prophets that walked in Kenya before now. When you pray and you don't know what to do, stay there. The prophet that conquered Kenya 20 years ago can still come back to tell you what he did to subdue the Kenya of 20 years ago. The power of his might. The earth is a distraction. This world is too noisy. See, sometimes you need to hear stories of witches and understand what they do. A witch can go on 100 days fast, not looking at the sun, to be able to meet a demon. A demon that has wickedness enough to afflict with death. A witch can be indoors for 8 months, and that witch may only drink water and maybe light food once in a day. And for 8 months, that witch will not step out, because the witch is preparing herself to meet the devil. And the principality will come to that witch and empower that witch to be able to subdue sister. And so that witch doesn't need religion. If he enters your office and you don't have the stature to dethrone her, the day she enters that office, that day you will leave that office, because of the weight of her priesthood. She came with 8 months of fasting. She came with 8 months of intercession. She came with 8 months of communion with demons. You are strolling about on Twitter and on Instagram, and you put your hands in the pocket. You want to fight a witch that has more education in the spirit than you. We have all the advantages, but we are illiterate in the spirit. And the reason is because we have not waited long enough, because we don't have the power of his might. There's no synergy. Do you know how many intercessors can bring down Kenya? Do you know how many angels must be deployed for Kenya to be won? What is the spiritual strategy? How many men are even aware? Before the Holy Ghost came down, they needed 120 intercessors. They knew, and so they gathered in the upper room. When the time was right, the Holy Ghost came down. How many intercessors are needed to take Kenya? How many angels are needed to trigger the revival in Kenya? How many hours of prayer is required? How many quorum is needed in the throne room? What is the weight of litigation required for Kenya to appear before God? You don't read that in the book. It is shown to you. We lack spiritual intelligence. Sit down. Sit down. I don't want to go high yet. He said, put on the whole armor of God, wherewith you'll be able to stand all the wiles of the devil. And he told us something. He said, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. See, these spirits are organized. They are systemic. They are deliberate. They are well structured and programmed. They don't just act haphazardly. He said, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of the darkness of this world, and against spiritual wickedness in heavenly places. Principalities are creatures in the spirit realm who are princes, but they don't have territories. You see, when you study the Kedah of the spirit realm, you will find out something, that after Christ, you have thrones. After thrones, you have dominions. After dominions, you have principalities, and then you have powers. That is in Colossians chapter 1, verse 15 and 16. When dominions fell, that is Lucifer, the son of the morning, because he was like a man. Hope you know the man that was created a dominion. That's why when he made man, he said, have dominion. And he gave man the earth realm as his territory, because a dominion is a prince that has a territory. The messenger of a dominion is a principality. And so what the Bible was teaching us is that the way the devil colonizes territories is very strategic. What he does is that he sends a prince that does not have the territory, whose lust is to possess a territory. That's why principalities come first. And so when they come, what they do is to take a census of all the category of people that are in the territory. The reason is because the authority over territories belong to men. He said the heavens belong to God. He said, but the earth he has given to the sons of men. And so when the principality shows up, he will find out those who are prophetic. Because the prophetic people are the first gatekeepers. If you are a prophet and you are not on the altar, what will happen is that your spiritual antenna will be open. And so any spirit can manipulate you. Because you have the ability to pick signals. If a prophet shows up here now, his emotions are high, his sensitivity is high. That's why many prophets are victims of immorality. because they peak frequency so much and their emotional intelligence is very high. And so what principalities do is to search men that have sought gift, and then they begin to traffic them through lust. When they traffic lust in their direction and they are able to infiltrate them, they will now use them to infiltrate the territory. And so what the devil will do is that he will raise three categories of people. The first people he will raise are messengers. The messengers are those who talk and disseminate the activity of the devil. Some of them become fornicators, some of them become liars, some of them become malicious people. They keep malice, they create contention, provoke anger. What he's trying to do is to create an atmosphere for the other princes to come in. Because anywhere there is contention, anywhere there is jealousy, anywhere there is fight and argument, evil can exist there. And so when the messengers are able to do it, you'll find a young lady, she goes to sleep with a married man, the family scatters. As the family scatters, the children go wayward, the wife goes into another thing, the man goes into another. They are discomfiting the structure of the territory. And this is what the messengers do. Somebody thinks his mouth is rapid. He goes to a place, plant a seed of discourse, cause problem between two people. The problem escalates and affects 20 people. They are called messengers. So many people are bearing the name Magdalene, Martha and Mary, but they are agents of the devil. They are the lowest cadre of demonic powers. They are messengers. They bring gossip, they bring malice, they bring backbiting, they bring lies, they spread rumor. And when they have created that atmosphere of chaos, then the next category of people come in. Those ones are called warlocks. A warlock is a spiritual programmer. A warlock is more intelligent than a messenger. A messenger, the devil just takes advantage of his appetite. He desires to see people quarrel. He likes it when people are fighting. He likes argument, so he keeps spreading it. And when he creates the atmosphere, warlocks now go to work. Now that there is contention, warlocks will now create a program so that because you people are vulnerable to malice, problems will keep happening here for the malice never to end. And so a simple problem that provoked a malice of 2 days suddenly can no longer be settled for 10 years. Because so long as the malice remains, the atmosphere is sustained. A warlock can show up because this man fornicated. A messenger came and made the man to fornicate. The wife now, the warlock will create a program of unforgiveness. So the wife cannot forgive the man. For 15 years, he will keep telling the man, you are a fornicator. You betrayed me. I will never forgive you. Bitterness is growing in her heart, and then this man is being pushed away. So what will happen is that the man will continue with the program of fornication, and the woman will continue with the program of bitterness. That family is now open. What they are doing is creating a system for the other demonic spirits to come and dwell. When a warlock finishes, then a sage comes. A sage is a warlock that is of the highest order. His job is to impart gifts and capacities. It is actually a sage that demons work with. A sage can come to you and say, bring your hand. He will spit and rub his hand and say, from now, if anybody is beaten by scorpion, rub your hand there, it will go. You will do it, it will happen. Because a sage has spiritual intelligence. So a sage trains warlocks and imparts them. Sages are not many. Sages are transmitters between spirits and men. A sage trains a warlock, and a warlock manipulates messengers. But the goal is to create an atmosphere where demons can dwell. Now, if there is no priesthood to discern that atmosphere and to scatter it, you will notice that as the atmosphere keeps building and becomes strong, it will become a spiritual system. That spiritual system is where the princes of darkness will dwell. This is how devils take people, families, and nations. Somebody may offend you, and you say you never forgive him. You are not doing yourself a favor. You are actually doing yourself a disfavor. Because that unforgiveness, the energy that is coming out of you, you may not know, but there are wise men who are interpreting it in the spirit. Because every man who is passing carries an energy. If your heart is full of love and purity, it's like a white cloud in the spirit. The demonic beings they can see. That's how they know those who are Christians. They don't know those who are Christians in the spirit because they call themselves Christians. They know those who are Christians because of the kind of energy they emit. And so when you pass, they can pick those energies. If there is bitterness, if there is lust, if there is anger, they can see it. And then they know that, oh, this one is a victim. They now begin to trouble you. This is why you forgive people whether they deserve it or not. Because it's about your own safety. The energy you are emitting in the spirit is a language. A warlock can see it. If a warlock sees you, he can tell where you are coming from. He can tell what you want to do. He can tell who you are. He can read your energy and discern your personality. How many of you have watched Melly? That's how cities are born. You need the intelligence of a warlock to build a city. And so what the warlocks and the sages do is that they create spiritual quadrants of weaknesses that are in the men of those territories. Some are full of bitterness, some are full of pride, some are full of lust, some are full of anger. When those quadrants are completed, then the demonic princes will begin to come in. When the princes come in, Some will sit on the prophetic corrupt people. Some will sit on the proud corrupt people. Some will sit on those who are full of lust. When they dominate them, they now have territorial legality. You can't just come and say, get out. No, it won't work. The reason is because the will of these men that they have enslaved gives them legality to be in those systems. And so when you come into the government, you will find legalities that princes have to sit in those governments. If you come into families, you will find legalities that princes have to sit there. It will take more than doctrine for things to change. You can preach from morning till night, those princes will not go. Did you not read about Peter? In Luke 22 verse 31, Jesus is the living word of God. He was with Peter. Yet, he said, Simon, Simon, Satan desires to have you. That means there are things that the word alone cannot do. Because the word was with Peter, yet Satan desired to have him. The word had to pray for Peter. He said, I have prayed for you. I am the word, but I have prayed for you. The problem the church has is that we are preaching dead logos to people that Satan has. We are preaching dead logos to people that are under the government of Satan. Somebody gossiped for 5 years and Satan has found a stronghold on that person. You now show up and say God is good. The living word was with Peter, but the living word had to pray for Peter. He said, I have prayed for you that your faith faileth not. He said, when thou art recovered, strengthen thy brethren. The word had to add priesthood in order to save Peter. In the garden of Gethsemane, Jesus went to pray and he told them, I am with you, I am the word. He said, but pray that you fall not into temptation. Do you see why many people have scriptures in their head, but they are slaves of spirits? Because even if the word is with you, if there's no priesthood, you will fall into temptation. I am the word, but pray. If you don't pray, you will fall into temptation. You can have all the Bible in your head, you will fall into temptation. Because the word made flesh was with people. The word made flesh counseled them to pray. What will keep you standing is what prayer does to my word that is in your spirit. And so where there's no priesthood, people become vulnerable because there is a program in the territory that has made them slaves already. A friend of mine relocated from one part of the country to another. He now discovered after 2 weeks that he started having lust. What is going on? He didn't know he came into a web that there are territorial spirits there that manipulate people that have his kind of frequency, because he is prophetic. And so the moment he came and they picked the letter of the prophetic, they began to woo him with the energy of the environment. And he discovered after 2 weeks he started feeling lonely. He now began to look for girls to make friends with, and he made friends with a girl. In fact, they had planned for the girl to visit, because they've talked into, people have sex talking on phone. They have talked into sex on phone already. So they needed to consummate it in his house. But God showed mercy. People were praying for him. And so when the lady came, both of them prepared for what should happen to happen. Somebody now came to visit that day and refused to go. As the lady came in, they started talking, about to fall into the grave. He said, I saw a young man that is void of understanding. He said, he has gone the way of the strange woman. And he said, no one that goes that way returns. No one that takes that path returns. He was about to join in the path of no return. But prayers have been made. Prayers. And so somebody from nowhere came to the house and sat down and wouldn't go. That day God took advantage of his appetite for stories, and they kept talking stories. My friend was angry. He wanted to stab the brother, but the brother was his salvation. After a while, the weight of iniquity broke and he started weeping. When the lady left, he knelt down, confessed, and was rededicated. Prayer created another algorithm, a counterprogramming that diffused what the devil planned. Because the devil had everything in place. But when men pray, oh my God, when men pray, the power to shut darkness is activated. Sometimes you will be helpless, but prayer will help you. I was in a club, a pastor. I had the destiny of an apostle, but before I entered my calling, the devil had a program and manipulated my way into the club. And when I stood in the club, I had taken a bottle of Baron de Var, and I heard from the wall, the wages of sin is death. What gave the wall the power to speak was the prayer of my mother. He said, this one will serve you. Not one hair from his head will fall to the ground. So because of that prayer, even when I wanted to go the way of iniquity, I couldn't anymore, because I was a burnt offering. The one who had legitimate authority over me burnt me on the altar as a sacrifice to God. And so when I thought I was wise, when demons began to manipulate my prophetic radar, they couldn't take me too far. Because those prayers, they can make stones to talk. they can make walls to talk. If men who rise to help you, even inanimate objects will suddenly come alive to save you. Because prayer is the sword, the power that saves men. Anywhere prayer is withdrawn, anywhere priesthood is withdrawn, people are about to perish. When Hannah said there was none holy as the Lord, she knew what she was saying. There's an intelligence locked in God to bring creation under government that the devil can never know. And that intelligence is quickened when prayer is at work. And so individuals are saved by prayer. Some of you who are serving God here, you think it's because you are wise. No. Some of you, your parents were even godless, but they were intercessors of Kenya 15 years ago. That said, Lord, in the days when you visit Africa, remember Kenya. We don't know when you will come, but when you choose to visit Africa, remember Kenya. And because of their prayers, you were numbered. Hope you know that we are saved today because Abraham saw us. He said, Abraham, your father saw my day and he rejoiced in it. Intercessors begat us on the altar. That's why today you were just going to watch football and somebody told you an evangelist is coming, and you entered there, you heard the gospel and repented. You think it just happened like that? No, that was a program. Your steps has been manipulated. How you met that boy, how you were invited, how you accepted, how you came to the altar call, all of that were the tears of the intercessors. Because when the intercessors were crying, they were not just crying, they were burning. You see, as soon as Zion travailed, she brought forth her children. You are the offspring of the intercessors of ages past. And so when the nation is about to be saved, intercessors must rise. And the first kind of deliverance that prayer engenders are individual deliverances. The second kind of deliverance that prayer engenders are territorial deliverances. Demons move men of power. They don't just only control people, they control people who control systems. In 2 Chronicles chapter 21 verse 1, the Bible said, and Satan moved David to number Israel. 1 Chronicles 21 verse 1, it says Satan moved David. The moment a man ascends a throne, the princes become interested in him, because they know that that one is a possessor of a scepter. He said, and Satan stood up against Israel. But the way he will deal with Israel is not by going for Israel, it's by going for the one on the throne. And he said he provoked David to number Israel because he knew it was a sin against God. The moment David numbered Israel, Israel became a victim. This is why we must pray and pray for those in authority. Paul was speaking in 1 Timothy chapter 2 verse 1. He said, I exhort above all that men will lift up their hands everywhere and pray. And he said prayers and supplication and intercession should be made for those in authority. Believers are not taught, so they end up online attacking their presidents and senators and governors. You will attack them, they will not even care because they don't know what they are doing. They are manipulated by the princes that watch over those thrones. And if you want the nation to go in the direction that it should go, you must also become a watcher over those thrones. Because princes are not only interested in people, they are also interested in territories. And the way they go for territories is by going for the people that carry the scepter. The moment you come into power, you come into warfare. Because they will come for you, not because of you, but because of what you represent in your generation. There are certain battles that you will fight as an individual, but there are certain other battles you will fight because you become a leader. That's why when you find people going through issues, don't be quick to conclude. You don't know their wars, you don't know their battles. There are certain princes that are only equipped to fight presidents. The weapon they have is too much to go look for an individual. So they are equipped only to fight presidents. And there are certain demons that are equipped not just to fight every president, but to fight presidents of nations that have influence over other nations. This is why intercessors have ranks. Because there is a level you are in intercession that you will pray for people. There's a level you are in intercession that you will pray for families. There's another level you get to in intercession, you pray for nations. Samuel said, I will not sin against you by not praying for you, because the hope of Israel was in the hand of Samuel. Whether Israel will fulfill her prophetic destiny is dependent on Samuel's intercession, and the man knew. Because princes also go for rulers. Did you not read in Babylon? Nebuchadnezzar was a puppet of the prince of Persia. And so when Samuel did all the negotiation and it would not work, Samuel had to go back to the altar. Nations will be in jeopardy until priests arise. It is the priesthood of the altar that brings deliverance to nation. There's no nation serving God that is serving God because they are wise. Every nation where they are serving God and the name of God is hallowed is so because they are priests that have laid between the altar and the pouches, and they will not turn back until the God of Israel reveals himself. The Bible said in 1 Samuel chapter 12 from verse 6, when the Philistines, when the Midianite rose up against Israel, he says Samuel, he didn't raise an army. He didn't go to consult with the technocrats. You know, many times the church lost her place. When there is crisis, the church thinks the solution comes from the government house. The government house is manipulated. You create change in the government house from the altar. We look up to economic giants. They are manipulated. Have you not seen some of them that came out recently and said they are happy to go to hell? Have you not not heard some of them that said the solution to the world is to kill 1/3 of the world population? And the best place to start killing from is Africa. And those are the people you are looking for to come and save us. The people that believe that Africa is a dumping ground and that Africans are consumers, and if the world will improve, they should kill Africans. Those are the people we look up to. No. The reason they talk like that is because spirits manipulate them. How can you assume the way to solve the problem of humanity is to kill humanity? How can genocide becomes the cure to human affliction, except as the spirit of destruction, Abaddon, is ruling over that person, and you think that that person is just wealthy because he's a business technocrat? No, he's empowered by spirit, and now that he has authority, he can kill and he can destroy because he has become an apostle of that spirit. And so when we want to create change in society, our altar must come alive. And Samuel knew, so he didn't run to the king, he didn't run to the army. In fact, in the olden times, when kings are in trouble, they look for prophets. But today, prophets are running after kings, because what prophets are looking for are cars. In the days of old, when a prophet enters a palace, he's coming with the word of the Lord. A young prophet entered the palace of Jeroboam, and he looked at him and he said, the hand of God is against you. You have erred against the God of heaven, you will die. And the king stretched his hand, and the hand paralyzed. Because touch not the Lord's anointed, do his prophets no harm. Today they can touch us because we are not on the altar. We are pursuing the same thing that the heathens are pursuing. We are pursuing the same glamour that the world is pursuing. Our altars are desolate. There are many people with scepters that should save nations, but the altar is empty. They are talking in the public, and the altar is calling them, come back. Your throne is not in the government house. Your throne is on the altar. When the Nebuchadnezzar wanted to make Daniel a governor, he said, no, don't make me. You can make others. I will sit at the gate. My throne is not in the government. My throne is at the gate. I change things from here. And the Bible says Samuel took a stone, he planted it, poured oil on it, and called it Ebenezer. And the Bible says from that day, the hand of God was against the Philistines. Where are the men who know spiritual things? Where are the wise men of our generation? Where are the spiritual technocrats of our generation? This is why I cry on the altar. We can't preach like every other person. When the nation is bleeding, where are those who can stand and say, Lord, restore? Where are those who know what they should do to bring a nation to the feet of the cross? When Archbishop Benson Idahosa wanted to change the fortune of Benin City, the Lord gave him strange instructions. He said, at night, go around the city and go to a roundabout and pray there. When he did it for some days, the signal of what he was doing began to enter the cove. He wasn't talking to anybody. He was walking in the night to a roundabout to pray and prophesy. After 3 days, they picked the signal in the demonic cove. And the next time he came, he saw a pot, and they butchered some strange meat that he doesn't know which animal it came from. They came to set a trap ahead of him, because they know what this man is doing is offsetting the balance. That means what is happening in the city, there is also a demonic watcher watching the program in the spirit. And so they are not moved, no matter the reforms you bring. They are not moved. They are only moved if somebody through priesthood is beginning to affect the program. Because the reason every young lady wants to be naked, even they don't know. The reason every government official wants to loot money and go to Dubai, even they don't know, is a program. And so no matter the advice you give, it will work until you go back to the foundation where those negative programs were written, and you begin to change it. If you start changing it, they will visit you.